what do you think about President-elect Trump's pick for your replacement, Wilbur Ross, and how do you respond to? Are you doing anything to sort of help make that transition happen already? Is there any discussion underway? And second of all, there's so much talk about protectionism. I'd just love you to briefly talk about that before we let you go.
Well, let me start with the designee for Secretary of Commerce. I've reached out to him, and he said that we will be in contact. I've also written a letter that I will share with him when I meet him, telling him what the things that I wish I had been told when I took this job, things to know about how to operate in Washington. And absolutely, transition is underway. President Obama asked us to do the most professional transition in history, and we're very focused on that and working well with the transition team that's coming after us.
Secretary Pritzker, I've got to ask you, we've seen many people who have come from government potentially take up shop here. I mean, just think of Condoleezza Rice over with Dropbox. We've had Lisa Jackson, who's at the EPA, now with Apple. Potential for a job with you in San Francisco, Silicon Valley? What's next for you?
Well, I'd like to go back to the private sector, but obviously I haven't been able to figure that out while I'm in this job because it creates too many conflicts. So I look forward to all kinds of possibilities in that way.
The jobs will come rolling in, I'm sure. David, a last question for you.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us, and I guess I just would love you to briefly touch on this protectionism issue, because it's so much in the rhetoric of the incoming administration, and I know it's something you've worked so hard for, a more open attitude. Can you just talk about that a little?
Well, I think that the United States cannot close itself off to trade. We're only 5% of the customers in the world. 95% are outside the United States. And if we act in a protectionist manner, what I've been told by my counterparts around the world, they'll have to retaliate. So that's not a good cycle to get in. That's a negative cycle. So it's important that we figure out a way to engage where we improve the ability and the opportunity for the average American, which I think is what the president-elect is focused on. He wants more of our goods made here and bought here, which is a great aspiration. We just need to figure out how to do that in a way where we're not putting up a barricade around our country, but instead engaging with the rest of the world.